Welcome to Spiedel's Federal Tax Minute. I'm your host, Catherine Zidane. This week we're covering updates that have been made to the 2025 Form 1040. Register for Spiedel's Federal Tax Update webinar on December 18th and 19th and get an 8-hour update that covers OBBBA tax provisions, Secure 2.0 Act changes going into effect in 2025 and 2026, leveraging the new SALT deduction, and more. For details, go to Spiedel.com and click Webinars. The IRS has updated Form 1040 for the 2025 tax year with numerous visual changes and new checkboxes. The new checkboxes are used to indicate, among other items, whether the taxpayer is located in a combat zone, the return is filed under a provision of Treasury Regulations Section 301.9100-2, which covers automatic extensions, whether the taxpayer's main home and their spouses, if filing jointly, was in the U.S. for more than half of the year, and if the taxpayer and/or their spouse are deceased, with designated lines to indicate date of death. There are also additional checkboxes that apply to dependents to indicate whether the dependent lived with the taxpayer more than half the year, lived in the U.S. for more than half the year, was a full-time student, and was permanently and totally disabled. The checkboxes to indicate whether a dependent is eligible for the child tax credit or the credit for other dependents are still in place. Moving down the form, there are also new checkboxes to indicate whether IRA or pension distributions were rollovers, IRA distributions were qualified charitable distributions, pension distributions were eligible for the public safety officer exclusion, the return includes a child's capital gains or losses, the taxpayer is a member of the clergy filing Schedule SE, and the taxpayer is choosing not to claim the earned income credit or the additional child tax credit. For taxpayers who receive Social Security benefits, new line 6D asks whether the taxpayer is married filing separately and lived apart from their spouse for the entire year. Remember, for married taxpayers filing separately, the Social Security income base amount is $0, which generally means that 85% of benefits are includable in the taxpayer's taxable income, even for low-income taxpayers. For the 2024 taxable year, Form 1040 contained a single checkbox at the top of page 1, asking whether the taxpayer's spouse itemized their deduction on a separate return or whether the taxpayer was a dual-status alien. For 2025, this checkbox has been shifted down to page 2 and split into two separate checkbox questions. The numerous new checkboxes are an attempt by the IRS to make automated processing easier. When the TCJA first went into effect in 2018, Form 1040 was reduced to 2 half pages, but by the 2025 tax year, it has now grown to the point where the IRS has filled up every square inch of 2 pages again. In addition to the numerous new checkboxes, Form 1040 contains expected new lines for the OBBBA deductions aggregated on Schedule 1A. Spiedel is offering 7 webinars to help you understand and prepare trust returns. Order all 7 webinars for $525 and 15 hours of CPE, or pick individual courses at the regular price. You can see a list of courses and get details at Spiedel.com under Webinars. That's all for this week. Join us next time for another episode of Spiedel's Federal Tax Minute.